So this is our second venture into exploring Alzheimer's on tape. I thought we might try to make today a little shorter than the first one, and even though the first one was really good because of you, and I thought we also might try a particular subject. So personality changes is our subject for the day.
Excellent. How many changes can I do for today?
How many changes can you do?
Personality changes.
In one? You mean like I don't know, like Jekyll and Hyde?
Yeah.
I don't know. As many as you want.
My personality hasn't changed that much.
Well, that's what you think because you don't feel it changing. You don't see it. That's the thing with Alzheimer's.
Okay. Tell me about my personality change, and I'll tell you. Talk to me about my personality change, because as I've said in the past, I have no understanding of my changes. I don't recognize them, as far as I'm concerned. I haven't changed a bit, but I know that's not true, because I am a little bit less organized.
But that's, yeah, okay. But that's not really a personality change.
Oh.
That's a change. I
mean... Personality change.
You're a little more goofy, a little more upbeat, jolly.
That's a little oxymoron.
It is? Why?
Because I've been diagnosed with a disease that I have an expiration date with. So I should be like depressed and walking around like the world is about to end, because it is. But I'm not. I don't feel Alzheimer-ish at all.
Do you feel depressed by the diagnosis?
Yeah, I do feel a little bummed by it. I feel like it's obviously a death sentence, so it's not like a job promotion. But I'm still in that period where I'm still not feeling, I'm just not feeling the truth of it. And who knows, maybe I'm just a real expert at denial, but I still don't feel like I have anything different with me. Everyone else can see it, but I can't. Therefore, as far as I'm concerned, not very much has changed.
Yeah. So do you get much feedback from people? You know, do you see changes reflected in other people and how they say things to you, or how they tell you, oh, you're different? Or
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, even when I tell people I have early onset Alzheimer's, they just poo-poo it away. Like, oh, come on. You know, especially when I work with students. They're like, oh, you're the same you've always been. They don't seem to recognize anything different. Nor do I, but they don't know me, you know, like you know me, for example.
Right.
So they just, and not only that, they're probably not paying much attention to my idiosyncrasies to start with.
Right.
So, but I don't think most people even acknowledge it. In fact, they don't. Nobody ever says anything to me about, wow, you totally screwed up on that. Or, well, maybe one person does. But mostly, people just, you know, we go about their daily work and do what they have to do. And, you know, there's no difference in the way people treat me. And there doesn't appear to be any difference in the way that I act. As far
but
as
you
like
don't
interactive.
see yourself.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. I don't see myself.
Right.
And sometimes,
well, is there a difference in the way I treat you?
You're nicer to me.
Why is that, do you think?
Because you think I'm dying and you're going to be sad when I die, and you're trying to make up for anything that might have been negative in our past, so that in my last breaths I won't think about them.
All the times I was mean to you, trying to make up for that.
Yeah, except you never are mean to me.
Not anymore.
Well, you never really were. I was an instigator, as they say.
Oh, so you remember that?
Oh, I remember everything except 5 seconds ago.
Okay, so then you do see a difference. If you remember that you were an instigator, know you're not instigating now.
I know, but you've changed too. It's not just my changes. You've made some changes as well.
Right.
You don't get exasperated with me the way you used to.
Right.
You used to get like really exasperated when I would be knuckleheaded prior to the Alzheimer's diagnoses. Right. And who knows, I might have had Alzheimer's since I was 18.
Right.
Because I've always been knuckleheaded. But,
So now I should feel really bad.
Yeah, you should. You should be extra nice to me. Actually, you were always very nice to me. I have no complaints, ever. But, I just I don't feel it. And I'm glad about that. I wouldn't want to feel it. If I felt it, I would... Unfortunately or fortunately, I totally forget that I have Alzheimer's, like, all the time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't even occur to me until something comes up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's why, because I'm an Alzy. I don't recognize it. And that's why I always ask you to tell me if, stuff, if I, screw up.
When I do that, does that bother you? I mean, I don't do that.
No, because I ask you to do it.
No, I know that, but don't you, isn't it still a bit, I don't know, frustrating or annoying?
No, because I love any attention from you, even frustrating and annoying attention.
Oh, I see.
But I don't get frustrated. I recognize that I have an issue. I recognize that I forget things and that I lose things and that sometimes I frustrate myself so much I just want to scream because I can't find something and it turns out it's like right there in front of me. What happens is I think that I can't find it because I have Alzheimer's, therefore my understanding is I probably won't find it. But it turns out it's right where it's supposed to be, and if I just looked there in the first place, I wouldn't have had it. It wouldn't have been lost.
Right.
So
go ahead.
It's sort of like I have Alzheimer's and I'm embracing it, but I'm also leaning on it. Like, oh, well, I couldn't find it because I have Alzheimer's. When in reality, it's right where it's always going to be.
Right. But when I hear that, what I think is that is the Alzheimer's. That's not, that's not you, thinking you can't find it because you have Alzheimer's. That's not the problem. The problem is your brain isn't working as well as it used to with things like that. And that's why you're not finding it, because everyone has that problem that sometimes, the piece of paper is right where it's supposed to be. It's right in front of you and you can't find it.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone does that sometimes.
That happens to me all the time.
Right. And it used to too, probably.
Yeah.
But now it's like you can't sort of get over that. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but it seems like it's harder for you to move past that stage to the second stage of, I'm going to sort of carefully, calmly think about where it could be. I'm going to, open my eyes and I'm going to find it. You know what I mean?
Well, let me give you an example. I had to get the bunny some wood chips for his litter. And I meant to do it on my way home, but I didn't because I probably forgot. And I get home and I decide I'm going to take the dog with me to the pet store to get the bunny's litter. But I don't have any cash, and I want to have some cash in case, I want to stop and do something else. So I get the dog into the car and tolerate her barking from one end of town to the other, get to the bank, only to find that I don't have my card with me. So then I have to drive all the way back with Pepper barking in my ear, which is fine because she doesn't get to do that often. And I get my card, and then I drive all the way back. So 4 drives, 2 back and forth. And the entire time, Pepper is barking her head off. And I didn't mind that, because I knew that she really enjoyed that outing. And that matters to me. But the fact that I walked out of the house without my debit card, and it was a serious inconvenience.
When was this?
A couple days ago, whatever.
See, I mean, to that story doesn't sound like Alzheimer's to me. That story just sounds like
something
things,
you would do.
Yeah, exactly. I've done stuff like that many times.
I know.
I mean, I've gone to a place, not had something, come back, gotten the thing, gone back, and still not had something. I've done that.
Yeah, no, but I know you do that anyway, but I never would do that. I would never walk out of the house without my debit card or my wallet or my glasses or my phone.
Right.
So, I mean, I have it very organized even still now, but sometimes I just can't find the things. And sometimes they are right in front of my face. Sometimes they're not. But that day was so frustrating. Though I do enjoy the time in the car with the dog barking in my ear. It was pretty brutal, but she was very happy. But I'll tell you, that was just like an moment. Yeah. I just hate that when that happens.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go back to personality changes.
Okay.
So, you don't really feel them.
I do
That's what you're saying. And you don't
see them.
See that you act differently than you did 2 or 3 years ago.
No. Well, maybe a little bit, because I think that I did have an edge a long time ago. But I just felt like it was being sort of like smoothed out.
Yeah, because you're getting older.
Because I'm getting older, exactly. So, and, I'm not... I feel somewhat accomplished in life. Mm-hmm. I've raised 4 children. I have a master's degree. I've worked in places where I didn't make a lot of money, but I did it because I really wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. And I would say my entire career was in not-for-profits. I've worked for Head Start. I've worked for domestic violence. I work at a college. I mean, none of those are big money-making things, but I did it because I enjoy being in the environments where the number one commodity is to help other people. Mm-hmm. But I forgot what I was saying. I was going somewhere, but it's gone. It'll come back in 5 minutes. It'll be like, oh yeah, now I know what it is. But the instantaneous forgetfulness is annoying. Yeah. Because that happens a lot where I'll be in the middle of a conversation and I have the next sentence ready to go, but then I can't find it. Yeah. It's gone. Yeah. And sometimes it'll come back. Sometimes it never comes back. And I have to recreate another answer or question.
Right. Well, one of the weird things you described to me is that you will forget something in the immediate short term, and then like the next day, maybe that thing has gone into your long-term memory and you remember it.
Exactly.
Or I have noticed that you will, for instance, let's say you're in a meeting, mm-hmm. and I ask you pretty quickly after the meeting what happened. You will have no idea. You're like, oh, I don't know. We just talked about something. And then I ask you the next day what happened at that meeting. You'll have a lot more details.
Right.
You'll actually remember specific conversations or specific topics that were brought up. So that's a very odd thing.
It is odd, but I'm not bothered by it. It's sort of like, I've never been someone who had a robust memory, even when I was younger. And when I was younger, I was even more knuckleheaded than I am now. If I went back to when I was younger, it would be a nightmare. now I'm knuckleheaded because of my brain changes. But back then, I can't even tell you how knuckleheaded I was. I would do the most knuckleheaded things. Now I'm not doing knuckleheaded things. I'm just acting knuckleheaded, which is kind of different in a way that there's no what is it when you're acting knuckleheaded? There's no award or reward. Where if you're being knuckleheaded, you sometimes the reward is people laughing or whatever. But now nobody laughs.
How do you feel about people knowing you have Alzheimer's?
I don't care. It's no different than if people know I have diabetes or a thyroid condition or, seizures. I mean, all of that is part of who I am, and I don't have a problem with that. I never have had a problem with being who I really am. The problem is when I change from not being who I really am to this crazy old lady that I'm going to become.
Well, you don't know though, right?
I don't know.
I mean, well, I don't know either. And I don't have a clear idea of how things will progress. Maybe there can't be a clear idea.
Well, probably not. I'm glad that if I know that other people who have suffered from this disease have sometimes as young as in their 20s. I'm just really glad it didn't hit me in my 20s. I'd rather it hit me in my 80s, but I'm glad it wasn't in my 20s. Not that, I don't know if there's differences like, early onset is different than regular early onset or typical onset. I mean, I have no idea, but I'm glad that it's at the end of my sort of work life, though I plan on working for as many more years as I possibly can because it's good for me, I enjoy it, and I really don't want to, I can't afford not to work. Not just financially, but mentally. It says in all the literature that if you have early onset Alzheimer's, you should try really hard to stay in your field and continue to do your work. And if it doesn't continue to work, you get accommodations and you do whatever you can until the last possible moment, which would be my way of doing things anyway.
Right. Do you see anything good in what's happened with your having Alzheimer's?
Oh, yes. You are so much more attentive to me than you used to be. Not that you never were, because you've always been an excellent partner. But you definitely have like more of a worrying about me kind of thing going on, which I kind of like, to be honest. Because I've been an independent person all my life, and I'm the person who worries about other people. Very rarely do people worry about me.
Right.
I'm the one who takes care of my sister and even her children. I mean, I was in their lives and paid attention to them and helped them along the way. And I have my own children, and I have, I've just, haven't been in the helping field. I've just been someone who's been the caretaker of people.
Right.
And now I have someone taking care of me, which is really kind of nice. I mean, I've always had my animals,
Right.
and I always feel like they take care of me. But it's kind of nice having you sort of around more and at my beck and call and concerned about me. I kind of like that.
It's not just me, too, right?
It's mostly you. Who else is?
Zoe.
Zoe, yeah, but Zoe's so great. Zoe should be like the master of the world. Because she doesn't say exactly what she's feeling, which I do. She says exactly what needs to be said. And she's so straightforward and honest that I know she cares about me. She calls me and she, tells me how much she loves me, and she's just a great all-around kid. But, oh, God darn it, I've lost my train of thought.
And Tam and Ginny and your sister, too, are all...
Oh, yeah, no, of course.
They're all, reaching out,
yeah,
I think, specifically
absolutely.
Because of this.
Yeah, but Zoe does call me at work just to say hi and that she loves me. She does
That's
that
nice.
a lot. which is nice.
And my Aunt Patsy sent a
oh,
coffee
I know,
cake.
that was so great. Oh my God, I can't even. Will you write a thank you note for me? Because I can't do it very well. But I love that. That's like my favorite food of all time. And I ate most of it all by myself within like 2 hours. You had a little piece here and there, but it was so delicious. I love that. That was like one of my favorite things of recent days, excluding my rabbit, my dog.
And a lot of people said nice things on Facebook.
That's true. That's appreciated. That's really nice. Someone said something that made me want to cry, but I can't remember what it was. I don't remember what it was. It was toward the end of the emails that you sent me, or Facebook messages, or whatever they are, but whatever the person said.
Well, there was both. There was emails. There was a bunch of emails that people sent me at work, and then there was also a bunch of comments that people put on the Facebook posting.
Well, someone had said something that really, like, I got a little touched up, or what is it? I was touched by it.
Choked up.
Not groped. Yeah, choked up and touched by. Ooh, that sounds kind of creepy. It's not doesn't seem like a good thing to say on a mic. You'll get that out, right?
No, there's nothing wrong with it. You're just working it out, figuring it out.
I know. So, I'm trying to think of anything else. Ask me another question.
Well, that could be it. We could stop right there. I think that's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Unless you got something more to say on the subject.
I just want to let people know that my bunny's name is Beans, and my dog's name is Pepper, and I love spiders.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right.
Except don't forget to write an email to Patsy and put my name on it. But you're so much better at that. I'm such a flub, and because I have Alzheimer's, I don't feel qualified to do stuff like that.
Yeah, right. Another advantage.
Yeah.
Get someone else to do everything for you.
That was so sweet of her to do that. I mean, really. I don't even know how she knew that was my favorite thing in the world, but that was really thoughtful of her. And I loved her little thing that says maybe you can't find your car keys, but something, I don't remember.
But have people over for a breakfast
or
something like that.
Yeah, like that. Like I would share that with anybody. But anyway, that was nice of her. I really appreciated her thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
So you have to send her an email for me and sign my name.